Welcome back to another video, everybody. Today on Mikkelism, we're going to go forward with the FRS bumper to the SC. Will it work? Who knows? There's a lot of extra bulk here that can be cut. So let's go ahead and get into it. But first things first, one thing we're going to need is safety glasses, guys. Always when cutting plastic, safety glasses is number one, and I got them right here. So we'll put those bad boys on from here on out. So remember, step one, safety first, get your glasses. Step two, I don't know what type of guy you are or whatever, but there is options for gloves. It's fairly hot out in California, so my hands are probably going to get sweaty, all that good stuff. We'll get some gloves on. As you can see, we're geared up with the protective eyewear and the gloves as well. There's going to be plastic flying everywhere. That's going to be hot. As for tools you will need, I am going to be using a 92 to 96 rear bumper, GT86, Scion FRS, Super BRZ, or whatever rear bumper you want, just to mock it up on there. Unfortunate thing about the FRS bumper, all that good stuff, is the fact that this is actually molded to it, unlike some other aftermarket bumpers. So like I said, this line is very important right here, as the SC kind of has it right here, right under the license plate. So depending on how much taller that is, that may or may not be an issue. I already have my exhaust hangers just off right now, hanging on with no screws and just the metal hanger as is, so they're already lowered enough to hopefully make clearance for this. Another thing you'll notice is I've got my tape line right here. This tape line is to keep the center of the project. That way I'm not off-center with the FRS, and I'm not off-centered with the SC bumper as well. That way, you know, once we split them into two, basically try to self-tap this or whatever, zip tie, however you want to do it, back in, we'll be okay with lining it up to where it needs to be. I think my exhausts are kind of off, but we'll do our best to line it up to where the bumper exhaust cutouts are and go from there. So some other tools we'll be needing other than the bumpers and all that good stuff is, what I like to use is, we've got these glitter markers. There used to be some nice markers at the dollar store, but they got discontinued those, and these glitter markers have taken over. So if you go to Dollar Tree and you just need something to mark, this is it. I don't know if this is dry or not. These are nice, but they cost a pretty penny for what you'll be using and how quick they go dry over time. It's not worth it. So I'll stay with the bright silver for the blue, and then I'll go red on top of the white bumper. That way, you know, when we're cutting the bulk, we can actually see what's going on. So markable pins. I do have some Everbuilt. We've got the Everbuilt self-tapping screws right here. They're a size 8mm head, and to make things easier, I've got my DeWalt drill with the 8mm head on it. That way I can just bolt it right in, all that good stuff. I think once I zip tie, I have slightly thicker zip ties. This way when you epoxy and there's pour over of epoxy into the holes that you zip tied of, then you will go ahead and create sort of a an extra place to kind of go inside the plastic and hang on, so kind of like a staple in a sense of the glue itself. There's that. A Dremel. I will be using the Dremel 3000 today. I don't need my overpowered other Dremel that I have, and I did just purchase these cutting wheels right here from Chicago Electric, which is going to be Harbor Freight. So first time using these. I think it's on there on the way. I hope I don't kill nobody like myself or anything. Two, you will need an extension cord depending on where you're at. I've got my extension cord here. Let's plug it up. Let's give this Dremel a test. Okay, it works. It's going smooth. Again, I've never used this Dremel before. No, sorry, not this Dremel, but this Dremel head before with the Chicago Electric, so I don't know how it's going to cut. Lastly, Cobalt chair, just so you can chill. Well, not lastly, optionally is a Cobalt chair, just so you could chill. And let me take you over here to the most important part right here. Now, this is going to be a very big determining factor right here. You don't just need the rear bumper. I would have only advised doing this if you had a Vertex 97 plus rear or a rear lip in a sense. What do you mean by that, Mikkel? You want to blend your bumper into the side spats right here, the extensions. So depending on how much material is left over, we'll be able to either cut it exactly here at this line and then glue it together, kind of how it has that Vertex look where there's no line right here like OEM 97, or two, as you can see, I've got an extra spat right here from a fiberglass Vertex kit that did not fit. Of course, make use of what you had. You'd be surprised what you can make with leftovers. So since Vertex is taller than 97 plus, you can see I've got more material that can make it a little bit taller and blend into, if needs so, with the FRS rear. So with that being said, that's pretty much it. Let's start getting to work. But first, before I start cutting, I want to say this is TPU or TPO. It should say on the back of the bumper. The problem with these two materials is this is polyurethane right here. Polyurethane is two chemicals that are melted together, so you can't really melt this or anything with it. Best you can do is melt its own material on top of it as a glue. You can't melt it together. TPU or TPO is, let me see if it should say on here somewhere. It's that same material. It has to be. I think it's TPU. Here we go. Subaru Japan. Oh, it's polypropylene. Cool. So we got PP right here. So this is going to shred a lot easier than this would shred right here. I have a hot staple gun, but this material is so thin that it would burn through this before it burns through that. So finding that fine line, I'm not patient for that, which is why I'm going to be going with the self-tapping screws to hold it in place. Now, as for the bulk, it looks like everything from this line right here and up can go. So I'll be cutting right here, even right here, because I don't need all that extra. So from this line right here on, that way it's just flat. We're working with the same flat area because I do not want this squared off right here, whereas this is rounded. And we'll probably start somewhere here around the license plate, maybe go around it, see if I can figure something else out to, I don't know, get rid of this square and then go on top of that. So seeing as it has a line all the way through, I don't really need to draw a line really. It's already there for me, built into the vehicle. So let's get cutting. Let's give this wheel a try. Hopefully it does well. I have no clue how it's going to do. Let's put it on setting 6 out of 10. And I'll cut right on that line right there. Looks like I need to go a little bit higher. Hold on to the excess, you may need it later. If you're plastic welding, you could always use that material over again. The good thing about PPE is you can melt it to itself. So let's get rid of all the extra all right, guys, as stated, one of the biggest things I'm worried about is connecting to the side spats right here, seeing how much material is left, how tall it is, because overall that's going to determine how your overall kit connects. I mean, unless you're one of those dudes that want a janky kit where it's just like it looks cool in the back but it doesn't flow into the rest of the car, then sure, by all means do so. Let me get this little cobalt thing out the way. All right, so with it cut, let's go ahead and see how well it lines up now. All right, so it's kind of right here. Not bad at all. Let me line up again. The median line is going to be right here. There we go, center. I should put a self-tap in there. And the cool thing about this rear reverse light right here is I can feel where this is right here. That's where I'm trying to aim to line these two up right here at. And I can see with the license plate cover like right there. So that's a little bit higher than I need it. Actually, these holes work really, really well. Should be somewhere like right here. There we go. That lines up perfectly. So your tow hook latch right here lines up perfectly. So you'll be able to put it in there. I should put a self-tap in there. I might raise it up just a little bit above that. Actually, a lot of bit above that. Probably to this line right here instead of the other one. Okay, that goes to the right here. And then let me throw a self-tap in here. Oh, this thing ain't magnetic and it sucks. Could use a second pair of hands, but whatever. It is what it is. Let's get that centered right there and lined up with the tape. All right, so now that's off to the left a little bit. Whatever though, I can go back and fix that. So now that that's in place, we'll go ahead and tack it up with two more. I don't know if we have enough material to reach over there. You guys can see, should let me know. I want to make sure this is level right here. It's even. Let me get my handy dandy encyclopedias just to make sure the height is similar. Not only a good source of knowledge, but a good source of measurement. Encyclopedia Britannica for those of you that are old enough. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of encyclopedias. Let me get two more. Basically, with encyclopedias, I can make sure they kind of stay in place and give me like a second set of hands on both sides. Huge plus. And I think that's about the same height as OEM 97 Plus from my current ride height. Is about 5 encyclopedias. But once it gets here, that's where all the weight is going. It'll be fine. There we go. And the other side, since it is now even, 5 in the center. Push this forward and we'll have another line. Let's see how much material we're working with. Perfect. So as you guys can see, it barely reaches over to where it needs. Also, you have enough material to work into your vertex sides. So that is a huge plus. But we will have to cut probably like right here, make an L shape. Reason being is this body line does not exist on the SC. But as you know, stock body SC goes down in an L tetra shape like this. So straight down and to the left with a probably like a 93-degree angle, because it does kind of go down. So all this right here Let me see if you can feel the line right here. It curves, goes to about right here. So we'll have to cut that down. And of course, my pins. We're on red, so we'll use this. We're going to get rid of this body line, so go behind it. And then 97 plus height is probably like right here. Mark a little bit higher than normal. This way you have a lot of excess to play with to merge it in once you do cut. Because again, we want this right here to merge into the SC because it's still that round shape. And then this will extend into your extension. This whole piece right here has to go too. Reason being, it is that it's that where that arch is flat, whereas the SC is one of few cars that are just metal and is not flat there. So we're gonna have to get rid of that too. But first, cut the L shape out and we'll be good to go. Okay. So just follow your lines, guys. So as you guys can see, ooh, I could have cut way less material. We might have to rebuild this with epoxy once we get it all together, heat it up and all that good stuff. This can go too. I'll cut that off right now. But you can see what I was going for with trying to help this mold that. It'll probably need some stress release slashes. What stress release slashes are, cuts or whatever you want to call them, is to where you cut right here. This way a straight object would bend more because it's in sections instead of what it normally is. So let me get rid of this extra right here. We don't need it. Sorry about that, guys. My other Dremel went out, so I had to go get the OP one right here. This is, I don't know which Dremel this is. It's a digital Dremel. It goes up to 35,000 RPMs. I think every number on here is 1,000. This thing can't go past 20. So let's get back to cutting. I know it's a lot of cutting so far, and a lot of it's going to be cut out, but let's just give you guys an idea of what we're working with. And again, we're shielding ourselves with a book because things.
All right, guys, as you can see, basically I cut out the license plate area. It was covering too much, but we still kept part of the meats and potatoes, which is the diffuser part right here. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a separation line between the white and the blue. This way I can bring them forward together, zip stitch them, and then we can epoxy them all together. Corners are kind of I don't know what I'm going to do about them. Everything seems to be set for vertex height, honestly, with this car, and I might have to go that route. I would say if you don't have the side extensions right here, then to go ahead and get you probably 2 KBD rear lips that you can cut up, or you can get you 2, rear bumpers, whatever's cheaper for you, but you're going to need 2 for sure, because that's quite the amount of room and space, I guess you could say.
So I went ahead and took the bumper off just to get easier access to cutting off what I need to cut off. Again, I switched to my grinder as that Dremel tool. It was great, don't get me wrong, but you can never go wrong with the grinder. I just got to make sure I don't cut off too much and a little bit at a time. This way I can zip stitch what I need to do. So you can see right here near the license plate, I'm probably going to cut more of that off just so I can feather into the bumper as is and go from there. I am worried about having to lower this a bit more because I don't know how much of the license plate it will hold up. I'll have to put mine on. So let's go ahead and cut this out without cutting your styrofoam bar and go from there. Guys, we back in the building. Militia, no days off. So basically what I did was, once it was off, I took the grinder and cut along the line of the white, making as close of a line as I can that wasn't too bulky. This way, when I zip stitch it, it's pretty much one flush flat piece, as you can see. Also, right here and right here, I'll tape off. That way when the epoxy comes through, it'll go ahead and help bond itself, like I said, like a staple. Watch out, Shasha. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, mark on it. You're good. I think it's dried out anyways. So now I need to test fit a license plate here and then cut the excess in the back. Okay, guys, so this side right here, what I'm doing is just clearing out basically the OEM bumper right there, just to give it a little bit of, I can work behind it to adhere both the pieces, as you can see between the PP and the PUR right here. I'm going to put some mesh down and everything, so this is very sensitive, I guess you could say, because you want to chew through hard enough to get through the PUR because it's thick, but not too much to where you'll instantly cinch through. As you can see right here, it got very close. Ooh, especially right there, you can see where I cut just a little bit, but not all the way through. The rest is just the line right here, so you got to have some skill to do that. So let's get back to it. Militia. Oh, watch your head, watch your head. Also, just for reference, you can see how much narrower the FRS is. Like, this part goes to half part of the exhaust cut out. And it lines up pretty much the same right here. Half point of the exhaust cut out is where this tab is at. So if you guys are doing that, this tab right here where your exhaust hooks up, that's where you want the edge of your diffuser, well, your exhaust kind of thing to go. So we're probably going to cut and open that up just a little bit more to suit it. And that's one pointer for you guys. And to clean out some of the diffuser look, what I'm doing is I'm cutting this bottom part right here off. Yes, it's going to get rid of the tabs, all that good stuff, but you generally don't need them once it's all one piece. So this line right here, a little bit above the license plate and then back down, and other to the other half point of the exhaust tip, should be able to clean this out good enough to where we have space to see what's going on under it without the SC bumper being in the way. What you making over there, Shasha? Huh? Careful with those, okay? Those are screws. I don't want to be picking those up. Good job. Line them up. So here we go. As you can see, a lot better now. The clearance of seeing what's going on. We can actually test fit it now. And let's see what my daughter's doing right quick. What you got going, Militia? What you doing? Shasha. What you doing? You got screws, huh? Yeah? Make sure you don't lose any of those. I don't want to run any over when I back up. Let's test fit it. Baby, you in trouble. Katazuke shimashou. Kudasai. Please pick those up. Thank you. She understands more Japanese than English so far. Or at least what I tell her. Yeah? Katazuke kudasai. Thank you. Alright guys, so here we are. So one downside to this is I did get it used. And as you can notice, the exhaust cutout is like extra big. So, I mean, if you had dual exhaust or a nice exhaust you want to show off, that would be great. But it's on there. Just needs to be glued next. So, and then still figure out those edges. I just might use the Vertex ones. Why not? Alright everybody, and that's pretty much it for today. Spent too much time out here. Got to spend time with the family, and it's dinner time soon. But This is all pretty much one line right here. I can take it into the house and glue it all together. I know it looks kind of awkward because it's basically dark blue, white, then black, so it kind of looks like nothing's there. This needs to be rebuilt. I might cover this over, and again, my exhaust needs to be lifted up again, so that'll fill that hole. Again, if you do get a bumper brand new or used in better condition than mine, it'll probably, you know, somewhere right here, but I can tell somebody cut this in a square to fit dual exhaust or something back there. I don't know what it was. So cleanup time. Don't forget to do that, guys. As long as you clean up, get your cords all done, and you'll be good to go. And then I'll see you guys on the next video. Take it easy.